Hey everybody, welcome back to our show this week. I will tell you what, like I do each and every week, we are gonna have a fun day today. The weather looks like it's gonna hold back a little bit, and we're gonna be fishing walleyes with our good friend Austin from Blue Ribbon Outdoors. So let's tell everybody today really what we got going on here.
All right, so
you got that weird look in your face.
Right,
you know,
well, this is my favorite thing to do all year. I love spring fishing. So it's March, we're walleye fishing. Everybody's walleye fishing, they're running.
You ain't kidding about that.
We're gonna do something a little different today, something a lot of people in the spring are afraid of. Do we bring minnows?
No minnows.
No minnows.
No bait.
No bait. I have not brought bait with me walleye fishing in the spring in 4 years.
Holy man.
So we're gonna prove today that you don't have to buy bait.
Well, I tell you what, you're not going to make the bait shops very happy.
No, well, there's plenty of stuff you can buy from them.
Okay.
Just not the minnows.
Okay.
Yep.
Hey, so we're basically going to be going out and anchoring up and pitching flies.
Yep.
Right? And I used to think personally that the water temperature had to be above about 46 for it to be effective, but that is not the case at all.
I actually find, I mean, it'll work at a variety of water temps, but I think when the water's under 40, the flies will outfish the plastic.
That's interesting. Very interesting. So, yeah. Any idea why you think that?
I think you can work it at such a slow cadence.
Yep.
And let it hang in their face for so long that you can just get a lot more of a reaction bite out of them when they're really sluggish.
Well, I tell you what, it's a fun way to fish, and it's kind of cool. If you do miss one, you don't have to worry about pulling in and rebaiting, or if your hands are cold, you don't have to worry about putting minnows on in it. And like you said, it is very effective. Hey, we also have the one and only Scott from Rebel, they make our great product, the Tubble Towels, and his sidekick, Sid. And if you guys remember last year, we were up on Chippewa County with Sid, and he had to leave early, and the fish really kicked on. Are you going to have the same issue today, that you're going to have to leave early?
I got my permission slip signed, so I got at least till the late afternoon.
Well, that's a good deal. By then, we'll have a pile of walleyes. Hey, everybody, get ready for some fun, and hang on to your heinies.
One of my favorite things to do that nobody does is we drift with slip bobbers. So we just like drift the boat, but then cast out slip bobbers and just drift with them.
All in that 4 to 6 foot stuff?
Yeah, in the flat. You know, it's like try to pick a spot where
everything
the
out there
depth
is
doesn't
flat.
change. Oh my God, these fish are stacked.
A little better fish, Austin?
Yeah, a little better, probably 16, 17 inches.
Good thumper. And basically, you're just casting across the current at a slight angle.
Across or down, never up.
Never up.
Like straight across is your upstream limit.
Okay.
Oh, not even that big, just a fighter. Not a bad fish, but. That's probably your average.
That's average?
Yep.
That's a great fish.
They're just healthy, thick little fish. He's all ticked off that he's got a fly in his mouth.
2 for you. Are they hitting it when you pause it?
Yeah, always on the pause. So like,
oh, I got one. Oh.
So yeah, like that, what that felt like.
I got one. Yeah, exactly. I said, are they hitting it on the pause? And I paused it, and poof, whacked it right away. Oh, that's a good one.
That's a nice one.
Ooh, that's a nice one right there. I'm loving it. You know, it is a cool thing about fishing with flies. Like I said, I've been fishing flies since I've been a little kid, and they've been fishing flies way before I was born. But it is a great technique, and I just never have really gotten into doing it this early in the spring like this, so it's interesting. So it's kind of fun just to be able to sit here and pitch across and pump that, but a lot slower, as Austin's saying, than we normally do it. So here we go, 1 for me.
I just do the loop for the front one.
Okay.
Because then you can open up the loop and you can change it.
It's a good idea.
One after another.
It feels good. I went like 2 casts without getting one. This one feels like a little bit better fish. On that back fly, too, again.
On that red?
Yeah, on that red. You said that last night when I called you and I was coming back. I gave you a call back and said, hey, what color should I put on? And you said red and white. And I'll tell you what, red and white has been, oh, sorry, Scott, I almost took your eyes out. Red and white has definitely been the color so far. Nice fish, about 14 inches. I figured he felt a little bit bigger than that. But in that current, and they're feisty this time of year. 3 for me. Hey everybody, I hope you guys are enjoying the show. I'm gonna teach you guys real quick here how to tie your own fly rig. I've already got some leaders cut, and I've got them cut at 5.5 feet. And I'm using XT 10-pound tests. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my fly here And I've got a wide variety of colors you guys can see. So what I'm gonna do is I'm basically tying a Palomar knot, and I'm gonna go through this with you a little bit. This one I'm gonna tie as a 3-fly leader. I'm gonna clinch it down, trying to keep that fly straight is big. So see how it's kind of kicked like that? So I'm gonna kind of pull it a little bit, pull it down. There you go. Okay, I'm gonna go to my next one. I'd like to vary the colors for sure. And it's amazing how sometimes they just want that one color. I'm tying them all the same where I'm going in the same direction. Coming up from the bottom and going through the top. Now my last fly here, what I'm gonna actually do, you guys, is I'm gonna grab a bead. And what helps when you're using such a long lead and you got 3 flies on there is it gives it just a little bit more buoyancy to keep that line up like this. It is amazing on flies how consistent the fishing can be, especially when that water's cold. You know, it works all year, but when it's cold, it seems like they work the best. And I mean cold like anywhere from, 38 up to, about 60 degrees. Now I'm gonna tie the 3-way on here. Now on here, I'm just gonna tie a regular fisherman's knot. Okay, now I'm going for my leader line for my sinker. And most of the time it's pretty standard. I go about 10 inches on that. But the key thing is that I like to use a swivel for my sinker for a couple reasons, just because that sinker is constantly going back and forth and it keeps out a lot of the twist. But the main thing is that so I can change my weights too. Because a lot of times when you're in a river, sometimes you're in deeper water and a lot more current, and other times you're on a flat and less current. So most of the time I like to use the pencil sinkers. I think they drag through the bottom a lot better. I prefer to put them all on a doily. So basically what I'll do is I'll take one of these foam doilies, take a knife, and it works out really good because with that snap swivel, I'll just open it up, close it up, and basically then I just wind them all on there. Hey, the other part too I want to go through real fast. Typically, a fly that has a lot less hair is typically more productive. So basically just take a scissors, trim down a lot of that hair. Less is definitely better when it comes to flies. The other part I want to go over real quick, I like to add scent to the flies. I always put the scent right around where the thread is that's holding the hair onto the hook. Hey everybody, pretty simple way to keep your flies on just a doily like this, and I'll put about a dozen to 15 different fly rigs on here. Hey, hope you guys are enjoying the show. Make sure if you guys are looking for more tips and techniques, you go to our YouTube channel here at Larry Smith Outdoors. Let's get back to some fishing. Sid, that looks like a good fish unless you got a wimpy rod.
That's a nice,
It's a decent, probably about 15.
fat little hen. It's a nice little hen sauger there. Not as big as I thought he was going to be. They dig in that current and they fool you sometimes.
Yeah, that's what's cool though. I love that.
But they're just nice, healthy males. Pretty one. All
That is
colored
one.
up.
You got to hold that one for a second. That's one thing I love. I love about saugers. They hit harder. I think they're a little bit better eating, and they are absolutely beautiful fish. There we go.
There's a nice 19-inch hen.
Hold that one up, Scotty. That's a nice fish. Nice job.
Right on that pause, too.
Yep.
Right on the pause.
Wow, nice fish. Now, if a guy wanted, you could actually keep that fish because it's over 18 inches, but we're going to let him go today.
Off to the races.
Nice job.
And all the walleyes that get stocked in Beaver Dam, the Madison chain, whatever, they all come from here.
They do?
Yep, this is
I
the
didn't
main
know that.
egg take for the southern half of the state. And then they take, I can't remember how many eggs. It's between 500,000 and a million, and put them in that Bark River hatchery.
Yep.
And they have this pretty cool system. So they only raise them to fry, but it's a totally like hands-free system. So they go in these like little swirl jars.
I've seen them.
Where, And yeah, when the fry hatch, they like work themselves to the top and then they spill over and go right into the river.
Doesn't matter what club it is, walleyes for tomorrow, sturgeon for tomorrow, the Rock River clubs. I mean, when you start talking about the private donations that really go into so many of these, bodies of water to keep the fisheries as healthy as they are, it's amazing. I mean, it really is, I mean, the DNR does their part, but boy, I'll tell you, I mean, the clubs, they really, it's a night and day difference.
That's the nice part about in the mouth here, is like you don't really fish a hole dry, they just recycle. There's fish moving past you the whole time.
Keep coming, huh?
You know they're getting fired up when the fly is down the hatch. I think it's pretty much just solid fish all the way across the river.
That's when you look at your graph and you get stuck in devil.
Right.
Oh yeah. Now that'll change your luck. You'll catch a fish.
I hope. Good job. You know, it's definitely fast and furious, this fishing. I'll tell you what, we haven't probably gone 5 minutes without somebody hooking up, and we've had several doubles already. Oh, and he came off.
They just inhale that
They
fly.
wolf it, huh?
The deeper channel, when you get sunny, I see more
Then
sliding
they'll
up
come
onto
out.
the flats, soaking up that sun.
Good one. Kind of go over the rig that you're using and the cadence. You know, there's a lot of technique to what you're doing. You're definitely out fishing everybody.
So there's a lot of small tricks that make a big difference with this technique. So I like to run braid for a main line.
Now, why is that?
Just for sensitivity. I run braid, honestly, most of the summer. I run braid on almost all my spinning reels. I run different leaders depending on what I'm doing.
Yep.
But I'm just a big braid fan.
Just because you can get the extra length out of the casting and the sensitivity?
Yeah, and then just you can get such a thin diameter that, like, when you're fishing in current, your line is less affected by the current because your line cuts through it better. The wind doesn't affect it as bad. It just has a lot of benefits. Pencil weights have a couple benefits. One, they really don't get snagged.
Okay.
You can fish it in some pretty rocky, gravelly stuff, and they'll just hop across the bottom and not get snagged up bad on you.
Yep.
The other benefit to a pencil weight is you can just take a needle nose or a wire cutters, and you can start with your full pencil weight, and then you change your weight by just trimming some off as needed. So it's kind of nice, you can really customize it and dial in exactly the weight you want. And a key to this technique is mono, not fluorocarbon for your leader.
Now let's tell everybody why you don't use fluorocarbon.
So mono floats, fluorocarbon sinks. And the key to this presentation is we want these flies, you know, swinging in the current about 10 inches off the bottom, just like we have our length. So if we use fluorocarbon, they would sink to the bottom and drag those flies.
Right.
So always straight across.
Never up current.
Or down, never up.
And why is that?
Because if you go up, well, for one, it kind of defeats the purpose. So when you cast straight across and down, and the current swings it as you retrieve it, it's kind of stalling and just sitting there hanging in front of those fish's faces, which is why it works so well. So if you cast upstream, you're just kind of not getting the action out of it you want, and you'll get a lot more snags if you cast upstream because you're not going to be able to keep the line as tight in that current.
Makes sense.
What makes hair work so good is that hair almost like breathes. As that current blows over that hair, it's like undulating and pulsing and that fly swinging back and forth. And that's all it takes to trigger those fish to get them to bite. So you almost just let the fly do the work for you. You're just keeping it moving to cover water, and the current and the hair will do the rest.
There's so much to technique, you know, having the right line, having the right rod, having the right cadence down, and really knowing, obviously, we're watching the side imaging as far as where the fish are in the river here. So, and like Austin was saying before, you guys probably didn't catch this, but what he'll do is when we're seeing pods of fish in the river, we're going by them, we're actually going up above them, and that we'll do is we'll work, you know, if the school is spread out, let's just say on this flat right here, if the school is spread out like 20, 30, 40 yards, we'll get up above them and work the front ones first, and then we'll just use the bow mount. And that's the great part about spot locking, is just work them fish first, give it, you know, 15, 20 minutes, a half hour, you know, when they stop biting, when you stop catching them, obviously, and then just slide back and work then in the middle of the school, and then you're getting to the downward side of the school versus just stopping right in the middle of the school. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys.
Built for fishermen, built by fishermen. Really, that says it all.
It's the family here. It's not a big conglomerate, it's a family.
They treat you feel like you're in a family, you know.
When you put those two together, an amazing product and amazing people, it's just the type of company you want to be involved with.
Not only because of just the great boats, but because of the camaraderie that the Warrior family has.
The customer service is amazing. They never leave you hanging.
So come join the Warrior family. Hey everybody, this week's tip of the week brought to you by our good friends up at Mike's Country Meats, the finest jerky on the planet. You know what, today obviously we're using a lot of fly rigs, and I'll tell you, Austin kind of hit on it before, whenever you're tying any kind of rig, fly rigs or rigs for spinner harnesses, pretty much any type of rigs, don't use fluorocarbon because fluorocarbon sinks. You want to definitely use mono. And probably one of the most popular lines is either Big Game or the Trilene XT, not XL, XT. Anywhere from 10 to 12 pound test works about the best. I prefer that the 10 or 12 pound XT. I want that stiffer line. So, and you can see the difference when you put it in the water, just the way that that bait will sway back and forth. It makes a huge difference. You know, and little things, we talk about this all the time when it comes to fishing, make a big difference, and that is definitely one. Hey, again, our tip of the week brought to you by our good friends up at Mike's Country Meats, the finest jerky on the planet.
Oh, now it feels small. Oh, it's running right at me. I don't know what's going on. Sometimes you'll feel them bite the front fly and it comes out, and then you'll feel the back fly stick them.
Yeah.
You got a rock?
Oh,
no, what do you got
my
a
gosh.
can?
A pike.
Yep, fooled me. I was like, wow, he just feels weird, but multi-species fishing.
Right. Nice little pike.
My OG green fly, the pike took it with him.
Oh, he got the OG?
He got it.
Oh my.
This one's gonna come in weird. I felt it bite the front fly, and then it slipped, and then I felt the back fly stick it. Yep, that happens quite a bit, so I'll bet you this fish comes in sideways or backwards.
Oh, you were right about that, though. Yep.
Yeah, you'll feel it, like, you'll feel the bite, you'll set the hook,
Yeah.
get a head shake, and then it'll slip 2 feet, and then stick again, so you know that back fly grabbed it. Oh my God, look at that pot of fish. Larry, you should look at this.
Them are all fish.
Yeah, like see, it was pretty blank, and then
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh,
all walleyes too.
that's like hundreds of
You see, and there's some nicer fish. Those are like your 15 to 20s.
Yeah, that
There's a good fish.
That might be too big.
We'll take those all day. Big male again.
a big male, huh?
It changed to 3 and 18.
It looks like it might be pretty good. I think you might have a good fish there.
I don't know, after clam shells and that, we'll see.
Well, if it's if it ain't hooked, if it's hooked right, yeah, you got, I don't see any pumping going.
No, I don't either.
What are you thinking?
I'm gonna wait and see.
Oh,
There it is.
Scotty, what are you saying?
What do you mean? What am I saying?
I'm saying, oh, you
Why
suck.
did you distract me?
Oh,
It's all your fault.
Oh, you suck.
One thing I like to see you already doing it, so I was going to say when I'm twitching the flies, I like to choke way up on it.
Choke
So
way
like,
up on it?
Like you're doing, so
Yeah.
like your fingers are...
Get him, Sid.
Sid, what do you got there? Ooh, there you go. Good sucker.
Hey everybody, it is our Leroy lunchtime, and we came off the water and came back to the office here. I'm going to cook up the guys some lunch, and today we've got the Hungarian broth. The great part about Leroy's is the quality of the food there, and I'll tell you what, every time I go there, I'm simply amazed on all the great products that they have. Hey, I'll tell you what, Austin, that was probably the most walleyes that I have ever caught on flies casting them, for sure. You know what? And what a cool technique. Again, like you talked about earlier, you know, not having to put any bait on and just to be able to pitch that. And you know, it was interesting. You definitely outfished everybody, wasn't even close. But really, I was watching your technique and just absolutely the way you were working that fly so slow. I had a hard time working it as slow as you were. I don't know why. I could see what you were doing, but trying to mimic that, I just had a hard time slowing myself down on that.
It's just one of those things too where I think, you know, it's a confidence thing because your brain tells you, you know, keep going faster and faster, and you got to force yourself to slow down. And it changes, you know, like the water temp warms up, then that faster snap is better, so.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, everybody. You know, when you think you can come down here and, you know, fish with a guy like Austin and catch, you know, anywhere from 60 to 80 walleyes a day. I know you told me the other day when it was nice out, you guys had just a pile more.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I would say today was a very average, slower side of average.
holy man, that's pretty good fishing for if that's a slower average size. Hey, let's tell everybody how they can get a hold of you and come and enjoy some of this great fishing. And you know, this is one of your favorite bodies of water to fish, isn't it?
This is my home body of water. I love fishing here. We fish it all year long. It's a great fishery. You can get a hold of me at Blue Ribbon Outdoors on Facebook or BlueRibbonOutdoors.com. I'm sure you'll put the phone number up.
Sure will.
And yeah, you know, it's not just a spring run fishery. Summer, fall, I mean, it's
This is a year-round tremendous fishery.
Yep, and it's not necessarily just this area, just the whole, you know, the Rock River, Lake Koshkonong, crawfish, or the watershed. It's a big watershed. There's, you know, 100 miles of water to fish. It's just a great resource to have here in our part of the state.
Well, you're lucky, I'll tell you that. Hey, Scotty and Sid want to thank you. Hopefully you didn't get in any trouble because we fished you a little bit longer than normal.
Yeah.
Hey, make sure if you guys need a really great cleaning product, you check out our good friends over at Tubble Towels. You know what? It doesn't get any better. Hey, we want to thank, like we do every week, all of our men and women that are in the armed forces for their great service, and all of our firefighters, paramedics, and law enforcement agents. Thanks for all the great things that you do. Hey, no doubt that we are still living in the greatest country in the world. Let's keep it that way. And it is a great day to be alive, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Larry,
Yeah,
tip of the day.
what's that?
Open bail, then cast.
Oh, open bail, then cast. That'd be a good tip.
You can write that one down.
Oh, you broke it. It amazingly lines up with that goiter you got right at the tip. I saw what you can see is like you had to make room for your horn.
Want another good tip?
Yeah.
When you're rigging up, don't get in a rush and be like me, cut the wrong end.
That is a good tip. Right?
Always double check the line you're cutting.